to Alive. Welcome to a chilled morning. Finally, I've got a day off. I've had such a busy week last week. Such a really busy week. And Saturday just gone. We had so much planned. I just couldn't do anything. I was absolutely wiped out. So luckily I was off on the Saturday. But I did 6 days last week working as well as doing um, obviously coaching work at the gym and then obviously some Reiki clients and things like that. So yeah, very busy last week, and I could feel myself oh, just getting like bogged down with a lot of stuff. So today is just a chill day, it's a day off. So I've done a little bit of stuff this morning, but you know what? I thought pop on a live. I haven't done a live for probably about a week now, and I've been obviously if you're regular to the channel, then you'll have seen that I have been doing more lives, but obviously now that I'm back in work and working extra hours over Christmas, it's quite difficult to do that to sort of maintain that. And I think as creators and as people that we are, it's important to just take that time to just stop. Um, Especially this time of the year. This time of the year, everyone's geared about just like go. We got to buy this. We got to get that. It's all spend. Buying stuff that won't probably be touched or used in a couple of weeks' time anyway, and people have just lost interest in it. It usually gives people maybe a fleeting glimpse of oh yeah, I've got that, and then it's just another thing that they've just got. Um, so yeah, so I think this time of the year especially, it's so important for us to just learn to just pause, to just stop, to just be aware of what we're feeling, what we're going through, the heaviness that we can feel as well from the stress and the strains that come around at this time of the year. Um, just make sure that you give time to yourself to do that. It's so important, and I think a lot of people maybe think, well, what am I actually achieving by pausing and by just stopping? But you're achieving so much by just pausing and just taking a little bit of time to reflect and just be aware of where you are emotionally, mentally, because we at this time of the year, we get swept away with the craziness of of Christmas and having to spend more money and families and running around here, there, and everywhere, and people working extra hours, they're working more shifts, they're getting tired, they get ill, as Sonia's just said there. We don't have as much sunshine, so we're not getting as much vitamin D, especially in the northern hemisphere anyway. Um, and you just start to feel very fatigued. So it's so important that we do just pause and give ourselves that little bit of time to just be and to just reflect. And we don't give ourselves that enough. And this last week of when I've worked like these 6 days, um, it got to the Saturday, and I knew I could feel it coming, and I could feel myself getting tighter and tighter. And I was just thinking, just get through these few days, and you'll be all right. The the, it'll soon all be over, and you'll get back to just normal and what have you. But yeah, it caught up with us. So Saturday, I was just so exhausted, mentally, emotionally, physically exhausted. Hi, Teddy. Um, uh, yeah, you don't need to keep saying hi, or else I'll just shove you out. Um, so I was just yeah, just drained from that. So that was my day to just kind of like stop and pause, and I felt a lot better for it. I wasn't 100% when I went back on the Sunday, but it was my day off, and like I said earlier, I had so much stuff. Um, I had so much stuff planned, but I just couldn't do it. I just did not have the energy to do it, and I could feel myself on the cusp of if someone sort of like um, if someone had pissed me off a little bit that day because I was so tired, I would have been like, "Arr." I would have just kind of like lost my rag with him. So my guy, hello, my man. Hope you're keeping well. I'm very well. Just tired, just a little bit tired. After all the work and craziness and what have you. Um, Alex, you're here at the right time, eating Japanese style curry for breakfast. Nice. How are you doing? I know it was on your Instagram. I think it said you were ill or you've been poorly, maybe with the flu or something. Um, Helicopter gunship. You seem like a nice person, but troubled. I'm tired. That's where I'm troubled at the minute. I am tired today. I'm not troubled anywhere else, but just tired. Yeah, so it's just been it has been a long week. So I thought, you know what, I've got like a bit of time. I thought I'd pop on and just catch up with people, because I haven't been on a live for about a week, maybe just more than a week. So yeah, helicopter gunship. So sleep and stop drinking caffeine. To be honest with you, I don't drink a lot of caffeine. I have one coffee in the morning and that's it. And then the rest of the time it's herbal teas. Alex, I'm good. The stomach churning comment is more of an overarching narrative, if that makes sense. Hmm. Is that like an emotional thing that you're going through at the minute, or is it something that happened that made your stomach turn a little bit? I know I had a really unsettled stomach last night when I was in bed. It was um, one coffee with your ciggy and you're set for the day. I remember those days well when I used to smoke. I think winter 2025 is going to be a strange time for many people. Hang in there. Yeah, it's very warm over here at the minute. Really, really warm in England and the UK. Very mild. We had a cold blast probably a couple of weeks ago, but since then it's been, yeah, really chilly. My guy, I hate that smoke is such a horrible and difficult habit to quit. It is. You're right. Yeah, it took me quite a few attempts to quit, but I did it eventually. And I've not smoked for I don't know how long now, 15 years, 16 years, something like that. Tracy, can we talk about something else? What do you want to talk about? Everyone keeps coughing without putting their hands um, over their mouth on the tube, so I have to keep moving seats. Yeah, is that like an educational thing? Yeah, because you see loads of kids that are just like, the parents don't tell them like to cover the mouth or anything, and yeah, I don't know. I think common decency and manners have gone out the window with a lot of people. Um, yeah, bit of a social thing. I think there's a lot of breakdown in just pleasantness, really. Corky World says hi, hello. Fair player, thank you. Uh, did you read that one book that everyone reads to stop smoking? No, I didn't read a book, to be honest with you. Um, but I just did it eventually. There was four of us at work where I worked, and we all decided we were gonna do it together. It was like one New Year, New Me, all that malarkey. Um, so there was four of us, and then there was three of us because the fourth one started smoking again. And then there was two of us, and then the two of us that were left, we kept going, and we just stopped. You know, we sort of rallied each other on. So yeah, it's very educational. My mother engraved it into my head when I was young. Yeah, I think it's just common decency, especially when you stood around in like a queue. You know, you've got a queue of people, and there's people behind you and in front of you in the coffin or whatever, and yeah, or they'll cough into the hand, and then you'll go to take change off them, and you're like, well, you've just coughed in that bloody hand. Why can't you use your other hand? Like, yeah. Congrats, Ian. I'm passionate about young folks not smoking cigarettes, but I also don't care for finger wagging much. Yeah, I mean, people have got to do it when it's right for them at the end of the day, and I think the thing is about smoking as well is it's one of them things that there's a lot of tax that goes into the economy. So I know when people started to stop, there was a lot of big shifts in tax and tax rises because people had stopped smoking. They weren't drinking as much because you couldn't go out to drink and smoke in a bar. So a lot of that reduced, and as you see in the UK, a lot there's pub closures all the time because it's just not one, it's not become socially sort of a thing to do anymore. Whereas, you know, generationally years ago, people went there, they went to the pub, and that was where people connected and spoke and communicated and shared emotions and shared their interests. Whereas now it's all this sort of thing, you know. So there's like live feeds, videos, comments. It's all from behind a screen, and there's not as much of that social interaction. And you see that with working in a shop, as you know, so many people are so they'll just throw things onto the counter and just expect to be served. No communication. That they hardly say anything, and you're trying to speak to them to try and see if you can upsell something or if they've had a good day. And you're trying to make communication. They're just not interested. So there's a lot of that. They just people are just in a very heavy place generally a lot of the time, and they don't know how to get out of it. And that's the one good thing about, you know, obviously this channel, other channels as well, where we can chat, we can communicate, we can share as well, and talk about what we're going through, even if it is via a live stream. Um, it's just this is kind of like a safe space for anybody that wants to be, um, you know, there. Um, so yeah, but yeah, it's very generational. You see how over the years it has been um, subsided a little bit. Oh, but that was what I was going. Well, that's what I was going to say about the smoking thing. Because obviously now they've got all these vapes and things, so people vape instead. But I think that's just as bad, if not probably worse, because it's this highly flammable liquid that you're taking in or whatever, and but they've made it taste like bubble gum or minty or whatever, you know. But surely that's more addictive because people then just think, oh well, it doesn't taste too bad. It's just like having some sweets or a candy or whatever. So and you see really young kids that are puffing around thinking it's trendy. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just yeah, I just don't get it. But people do, and it's up to them. I suppose at the end of the day, it's their life, their choice. Fair play to you. You've cut down to two a day. Wow, you probably now at the point. That's to be honest, I tried that originally. That was one of the first things that I tried was just to cut down. So I was initially I was probably smoking 20 to 30 cigarettes a day. So always I would always need to have like a fresh pack ready just in case the last of my 20 had gone that day. So I had a fresh pack ready for the next day, and it just goes on and on and on. You know. Um, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to cut down. I'm going to buy 10, and I'll cut down and try and get to like maybe five a day. Um, but for me, that just didn't. It just didn't work. It worked for so long, but then it started to creep back in. I was smoking a bit more and a bit more. So I had to just make kind of like the conscious effort, and we just eventually just did it. But yeah, it took a while to do that. Uh, let's invent more third places that don't involve vices. I should go to the library more. Yeah, library. One of my friends, she started going to the library more, and that was a place that I'd noticed on the social media that she used to go a lot when she was a kid, and then obviously it phases out again, a generational thing, phases out, and then she's decided to go back again. That's kind of like her sanctuary. Um, but there's a lot of you see a lot of young people going to the gym, which is encouraging, as long as they're not obviously taking stuff while they're in there, because again, that's another part of the whole culture thing, the whole generational thing is it becomes a trend, and then 10, 15 years later down the line, you see people that have been taking steroids to try and build themselves bigger, and now they've got diabetes, or they've got this, or they've got that. It's like people that are on like weight loss injections. You know, there's a lot of issues with that are linked to like diabetes and eyesight issues and what have you. Rather than just going like just doing the doings, doing the work, and just creating that and stopping all the crap. Are you macking? Don't know what macking is. Um, Sonia, so you're an ex-smoker too. Love it. I didn't know Sonia smoked. Stopped over 16 years. So proud, very good. Hey, Howard Styro Ramberg, greetings from Norway. Welcome, Norway. Uh, a helicopter. The biggest addiction of vaping, in my opinion, is that you can get away with vaping indoors. And it's not a stick that runs out. Your mouth is glued to it. Yeah, yeah, quite agree with that. I know there are some restrictions like in various places, but you do see a lot of people indoors that do just vape for the sake of vaping indoors because they think they can. Um, oh, you from Sunderland? Oh, you meant Mackham, right? No, I'm not from Sunderland. Not far, probably about don't know how, maybe 30 mile away, something like that. I don't know how. Yeah, don't know how far Sunderland away is from where I am, but yeah, I'm in County Durham. Uh, I came up so scared of substances and addiction that it caused some complexities, I'm guessing. I over abstained, felt compelled to try drinking, and the gummies for the first time this year proved to myself that I can try those things and not be suddenly hooked. I feel stronger for trying it. Yeah, I'm transitioning from tobacco to smoking herbs and cannabis. There's a lot of people that are transitioning to that. They are smoking cannabis instead. You smell it around town quite a lot. I hate the smell of it though. It really knocks me. Ugh. But I know the people that are probably are smoking it around here are probably not doing it for the best intentions or the best or the best reasons. Or maybe they are. I don't know. Who am I to judge at the end of the day? Um, yeah. We none of us know what people have got going on, so we can never point a finger. It is what it is. The other thing that I've found recently that's been coming up a lot for me, and I don't know if any of you guys have but I keep getting pulled back. I think because we're coming to the end of the year, and this has happened a lot over the last few years, where we're getting into December, we're getting towards the end of the year, and I keep getting pulled back to old life situations and old circumstances, old ways of being, old friendships, old relationships as well. A lot of memories have been coming up from that. And just, was it yesterday or the day before, I saw people that like I used to knock about with, or people that I'd upset because I wasn't a very pleasant person back in my 20s because of everything that was going on, and I was recalled back to the situation of when I'd said something to this person, and I could feel the emotion rising in me, and I just said in my mind and sent it out, I'm so sorry, to that person. I sent it out into the ether, and yeah, I just, there's a lot of being pulled back to old, like kind of old ways, but also a lot of reflection that's coming up from that. So it's very healing in a way, because we're able to reflect and be aware of it. And I've said, as I've said before in a lot of videos, um, uh, that the awareness is the healing part about it. Let me just catch up with your messages, guys. Helicopter, drinking is the ultimate gateway drug. I only I only ever do packet or Tina when you're pissed. It's fun but destroys my ticker. I'm guessing packet is tobacco, and Tina, I'm guessing, is cannabis. I don't know. I don't know. Um, I'm very naive. I mean, I have smoked dope before. It didn't do anything for me. I wasn't really that bothered, to be fair. Um, Same here. A lot of us, I think, are going through the same thing, remembering how life was before 2020. Fucking hell, yeah. Uh, Lots of drinking in my family history. I rebelled and better for it, but had to try it. I was not amazed. Um, it's good to call up old friends you haven't talked to in decades or years. Yeah, a lot of old friends that like I don't really connect with anymore. Since kind of like my awareness and awakening, really, from like my late 20s. Yeah, they just, there's no connection there anymore, and I there's a resistance to go back there and speak to them, because I was only satisfying my ego, and it wasn't really a part of me. It wasn't part of my life. It wasn't who I was, and I was just following. I was almost following a trend, but also, as I was just this morning, I was doing a bit of housework. I was kind of like recalling those times, and there was just it was just fun. It was just being fun. I was in my early 20s, mid 20s, just having fun, messing about, fooling around with friends, um, getting drunk, this, that, and the other. And yeah, it was just fun. Um, there was no sort of ties or attachment to it. But on the other side, I was very, very lonely. I was very lonely with myself, and I didn't know who I was. So if it wasn't for that, and then being able to step out of it and seeing actually you can survive on your own, and you can be happy within yourself and in your own skin. So every part of our life is a really, really great teacher. So yeah, it's vital that we have to go through this stuff. When we're in it, we think, "Well, why am I going through this? Why is the universe or God giving me this to deal with or to live through? What is the point of this?" And then maybe 10, 15, 20 years, maybe even longer after that, you go back and you realize actually that was serving a purpose. There was a divine reason why I had to be that person, or why I had to live that character, um, to discover the the unsettled nature of who I was. So yeah. Where are we? Let's have a look. could see within 30 seconds of getting here that you seem like a nice person. Thank you, helicopter. Alex, yeah, Ian, I've been getting flashbacks and clarity lately. I feel very lucky, but also it can tear you down. But tear down is necessary before rebuild. Absolutely. Uh, if you think Packet and Tina are tobacco and weed, I'm very jealous of your naivety. Yeah. Um, uh, Alex, I reach out first almost always. It has had some amazing results, and I am linked back up with another old friend this week or next. Oh, good. That's good. Howard, 100. Sonia, they came back into your life for a reason, and that's how you passed. Yeah, it's just interesting how it does bring up like it brings up a flood of memories, and a flood of emotions, and yeah, it makes you reflect a little bit on the person that you were to where you are now. Um, and to say that those times, yeah, there was a lot of fun and daftness and silliness, but that was a lot of that was just to cover up the loneliness, really. That's what it was. That's a lot of it was for, and the anger that and the bitterness that I was holding on to because things just because I wasn't very happy and things just weren't going my way. Um, yeah. Whereas now, a lot more settled in my own way of being, my own state, and but I can still have fun. You know, there's still a joy and a fun in life, and it doesn't have to involve drink, and it doesn't have to involve um, silly people. Even though silly people are, I mean, I still have silly friends and what have you, but it doesn't have to involve all that other stuff that comes with it, and it doesn't have to involve um, those feelings of loneliness and heaviness and whatever that I went through back then. So yeah, I mostly have waves where people come back in, but I've had very few toxic encounters, like having to sever ties or anything. Yeah, though I haven't had like a lot of sort of toxic ties. Um, a few, but not loads. But I think a lot of the time I created that toxicity as well. Um, yeah. So reflection is a really powerful tool that we can use um, on our own healing journeys moving forward, and we can look back at from the place that we're in. Um, and I made a video. Well, I made a video similar to this, which is out in January sometime. And it's I keep getting asked a lot by people about when we're going to see the split, this 3D 5D. When's it going to actually happen? And a lot of people are kind of like sat waiting for this split to happen, but not actually realizing the split is from you. The split comes from you. So the three-dimensional world that we're in that we can't get out of, it's a part of where we are physically, but spiritually we could be further beyond that. But if we just sat waiting for something to happen, then it's never going to happen because we need to create it. We need to manifest it through ourselves, through our own consciousness. So yeah, that's a little bit. Where was I going with that? Totally lost track of what I was on about there. Yeah, reflection, like the reflection. Um, yeah, so we can move beyond that, and then we reflect and we sort of look back at where we've been. And I'd said this to a few people. I've said this to a few people before that if you look back to where you were 10, 15, 20 years ago and look at where you are now, there will be a huge shift and a huge change. And that's because of your change in your own vibration, your own healing journey, your own spiritual vibration has changed that much. But because you're sat here now and you're still looking for it, you can't see it. You're not aware of it. So you need to let go of the attachment of thinking that it's going to be this sort of like grand hurrah, and it will just evolve naturally. Um, and it's like anything in life. It's like what I've just been talking about there. We go through things and we think, well, why the hell am I experiencing this? Why am I going through this? Why would God, why would the universe want me to experience this? And then 10 years later, you actually realize why you have to experience it. And it's very much the same situation of what we're going through within a spiritual awakening context. You think, why do I have to go through all this shit? Why am I going through all this pain? And then 15, 20 years later, you realize, oh, actually, I need to go through that to realize that there is a way out, and this is who I was, and this is where I am now. And I've evolved that much, and I've managed to do so much more healing, and I'm so much more better mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually than what I was then. So that's what we're being shown, and that's where we're being guided to. Alex is a certified silly Billy. I can vouch for that. He is, but such a lovely guy. Such a lovely guy. I just realised that the fact that I have very few to none when it comes to bad friendships, that this could be a good indicator of my own characteristics. Yeah, well, you could be a good. It could be that you're a very good judge of character, and we often say as well that people are attracted to you because of your own energy, and you will attract like. So what back then when I was talking about that, back then, like attracts like. So where I was mentally and emotionally, now I look back at a lot of people were very much the same. We're all searching for something. We're all searching for the same thing. We're all searching for some sort of happiness. And a lot of us thought that the happiness was in having a relationship or having lots of sex or getting pissed or whatever. Um, and obviously that's like kind of fleeting. Um, so that the happiness is something that we were all searching for, but it was already there. We were so locked in the mindset of external things that bring happiness rather than looking internally. And that's where the shift in vibration and consciousness comes from, and that's where your evolution comes from. And it's so subtle because when we teach to be in the present moment, yeah, we're in the present moment, and there's no past or future. But every now and again, we have to have like a little bit of a little bit of a reminder of where we were to where we are. And yeah, I think December brings a lot of that up. It really does. Brings a lot of that awareness and memories and where we were to where we are. Um, and there's also an aspect of me that misses that as well. It misses um, that chasing, that um, that life. But that's like an old aspect of myself. But it's obviously still there on some level. But I know I couldn't do it and I couldn't maintain it, so I don't go there. I don't entertain it. Um, yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Reflection. It's strange. It really is strange reflection when you look back, and then you become more aware of where you are and what you're feeling, what you're going through within that reflection. What is that reflection bringing up for you? How do you deal with that? How do you work through it? And this could be very, very mild for some people. A lot of people's reflection of what they look back to could be quite severe. Could be a lot of PTSD or trauma and things like that that could be coming up for people, which is very, very heavy stuff to work with. Um, yeah. And there's been a lot of instances lately where a lot of friends that I've worked with over the years have lost loved ones or siblings, and it's been a tough few months for them, and I'm thinking about them a lot as well, and thinking about it's going to be their first Christmas without those people there. So it's going to be very, very emotional for them. It's going to be very difficult for them. So I'm sending a lot of thoughts and love to those people as well um, to try and help them on some level. Yeah, December's all about reflect. It really is about reflection, isn't it? We're reflecting on our past, and we're reflecting on others as well, and what they might be going through or what they might be feeling, and just sending a little bit of love and compassion to them. It's a really difficult time of year for so many people. Um, you know, we've got those that are nearest and dearest to us, but there's also, um, there's also a lot of people that aren't near and dear to us, but they're also going through the same thing. It's difficult. It's difficult things. There is an album, and oh God, I can't even talk. There is an album called December Underground from a band I used to frequent called AFI, and I think I'm gonna spin it when I hop off here and be productive. I bring this up with the December theme. Yeah, yeah, I do feel quite emotional actually talking about this at the minute. I hate looking back, Richard Pictures. I hate looking back. I was drunk for about 10 years. When I do, I just cringe. Yeah, I've done that a lot. Over the last few years, I just look back at where I was in my 20s and I just think, what the hell were you doing? Why were you with those people? Why were you giving so much of yourself away? If only I knew now what I knew then. But then that's part of reflection. That's part of life. We need to learn it, don't we? Yes, Sonia. Yeah, that's one of them. There's quite a few. There's quite a few recently um, that have sadly, lost close ones. For me, I try to look back so that I look forward. I think if I was 10 years a drunk, I would not. I would peek back just to remind myself that I am not there now. Hang in there, Richard. Richard Pictures. Thanks, Alex. I 4 years sober now, but it still sends a shudder through me thinking about it. Yeah, because it just becomes like an everyday thing. And I saw another video on Instagram, and alcohol's the one drug as well that is so accepted, isn't it? It's so accepted to just pass someone a drink, and if someone says, "Oh no, I don't want it," they're like, "Well, why? What's the matter with you? What's the matter? Go on, get it down, yeah." But then if you pass somebody a line of cocaine or drugs or whatever, they're like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" So it's like, yeah. So I do like doing art, Salma. I do indeed. I'm just having a bit of a catch up, just a bit of a chat. I'm gonna head off um, in a second because I've just had a phone call, so I need to go and answer that phone call. Yes, Alex, that's a really good point. It's awesome that you did shudder Because if you didn't when you're looking back, then that would mean you didn't grow. So that's a really good point. Yeah, yeah. Right, guys. So I am going to head off. Thank you so much for being here. I just wanted to check in and just let you know that I am still here. I had a very busy week last week. Bit of a chilled out day today. But thank you for being here. Those that have, please do like and subscribe. Um, nice as always to see so many of the regulars here, and hope to see you all again soon, and chat soon. So do take care. Much love to you all, and to Lou for now. Sending much love your way. So bye bye.